I got my first horse when I was 4 years old. It was a little bitty Shetland. She was about 30 years old and was spoiled. And if she couldn't get me off rubbing on the building, she'd lay down and roll. But we raised a colt out of her and had nice about 13 hand horse for me then when I got a little older. My father always had horses, and they had little bush meets there. Within 100 miles of home, you could go, and on the weekend they'd have a bush meet there. And I rode in the races. You wouldn't believe it now, but I rode in the races when I was 13 and 14. I went to Kentucky with a friend that was going to buy horses, and we walked around the grounds there at Lexington, and I'd run into Marion Vanberg, and he had two for sale, a mare called Jubilee and Coherence, and I bought both then. He wasn't the biggest money winner or anything, but I bought him for $400, and in 4 years he won either 23 or 24 races. When I first got him, he'd been claimed 6 times in 6 months, and he was real sour. And I was just a kid. I spent a lot of time with him and babied him. And I got him where he'd stand drop tied, that you can have a rope on him and drop it and he'll stand there and not run off. And I'd kind of show off with him down in Arizona when I was running there. I'd lead him out of the stall, 15, 20 feet and drop the rope. And I'd go back and get another one. In those days, you used to walk a horse in each hand. Yeah, I'd say he'd be my favorite. I've had others too. Bilotti and then Electric Fever were both real nice horses. I had a little gray mare called Pen Pal that was kind of one of my favorites. When I was down in Arizona, like my boy was about 3 years old, and he'd go down with me to chore up at night. And I'd take her out and graze her a little bit, and I'd set him on her back. And she was so quiet, she'd never jump or do anything to hurt him. I treat my horses with the utmost kindness. You have to be dedicated, and I believe horses should be fed at the same time every day. And otherwise, I think they get nervous, and it helps develop ulcers, Analyze what they need, if they need more training or less training. Like I've got very good help here, Monique Gallet. She does, almost 100% of the work here at the barn. And my girlfriend Bonnie, she comes down and helps too. Well, Donnie Gray was a good friend of mine. Mike Smith was a good friend, and Donnie Richardson. They were all, Mike was younger than me, and Donnie was about the same age. And Jack Robertson are very close friends. We used to play cards together and joke together all the time. I've always had the opinion, if I was going to get beat and couldn't win the race, I'd rather see a friend of mine win it than somebody else. Besides that, they might buy a case of beer that night, and then we'd all sit around and drink beer. There was a group of us that used to do that. Whoever won a race that day, you'd go down and get a case of beer. Assiniboia Downs is my favorite track. I think the Jockey Club has done a really good job keeping the place going. And I've spent about a third of my life here and made a lot of good friends.